30 days ago, Lobo exploded thanks to Jason Momoa. 60 days ago, Mark Spears' Vampire Mary Jane had collectors sinking their teeth in. And 90 days ago, Absolute Batman was a must-have. Are they still hot, or has the hype cooled? Let's break it down in this week's 30, 60, 90 Look Back. $30, $60, $90 Look Back. All these books I think are still hot. Books that people are still going to be hunting for. If this is the first time you're watching 30, 60, 90, the whole idea is that we're going to look at books that were on cover price #1 list 30 days ago, 60 days ago, and 90 days ago. And we're going to see how they are performing as of today. Have they gone up in value? Have they dropped in value? Are they still in the trending list? From the list that you're seeing right now, I'm pretty sure they're still pretty hot, but we don't know for sure until we look at this list. Anyway, let's take a look at the first book that was #1 30 days ago, and that is Omega Men 3. This is the first appearance of Lobo. This book came out in 1983 for DC Comics. On January 6th, 1 month ago, this book was top weekly sale was $400 at a 9.8, and it had 186 units being sold. The fair market value of this book was $96 near mint at a raw, while it was $404 at a 9.8. The highest known value of this book was at $554 at 9.8, and that just recently happened on January 3rd, 2025. What's important to note, and this is something that I added to this list now, and I think it's a good measurement of seeing how many books exist. There's currently over 10,000 books in the CGC census, and that's from 9.9 all the way down to 0.5. So we're counting them all. In the book, signed, unsigned, doesn't matter. But in CGC, there's over 10,000 copies of this book that's been slabbed. As of today, the last recorded sale of this book was $138 at a 9.6. That was this week. During the 30-day period, 217 copies were sold, and the raws went up to $131 near mint, while the grades actually dropped to $374. What's your thoughts?
Well, the hype is still there, and it's just going to build up, I think, until there's a trailer that we get to see him in character. Mm-hmm. And people are, obviously starting to figure out where this character first appeared, and they want to buy it.
Mm-hmm. This is a book to me that it seems to be available, even though the term Omega Men shouldn't have that many copies, because it couldn't have possibly be a great book. It didn't really last long. I don't even know how many issues it ran to, but who really cares about the Omega Men? Like, let's be honest. Who really cares? Like, is there someone out there that says, yo, that's my favorite group?
No.
All right. So all the hype is behind Lobo, who debuted in Omega Men, and he went on to be way bigger than the Omega Men. So I'm thinking to myself, how many copies of this book really truly exist? If we have 10,000 copies in the census, like, seriously.
There's boxes of these books around.
I personally don't get how this book has so many copies out there. It's just weird to me. As we said, there's so many copies of this book. To be honest, don't overpay for this book. Like, someone's coughed up $550 this week for this book when this book is as a fair market value of $400. It's getting traction. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's take a look at our next book in our list here, and that is Mark Spears' Monsters #2. This is cover M for Ultimate Comics, the ASM 601 homage. When this book was on #1, it was December 2nd, first week of December. It was selling at a high of $60 near mint. Weekly units were 67. The raw was $52 near mint, while there were no graded copies. As of today, the highest known value of this book is $200 at a 9.8, and that was January 14th. There's only 7 books currently recorded in CGC census, and that means this book, people are going to be hunting this book down because of that. As of today, a near mint value goes for about $80. 62 copies were sold during the 60-day period. The raws are going for $80, while graded copies are going for about $180. There's not many books yet.
No, and the Mark Spears train rolls on because last week Monsters 3 came out, and when I was in the store picking out all of the covers that I was taking, the phone was ringing with people asking if they had the covers or not and how many. So you're still seeing people seeking these other issues, and that's a classic cover. So people that collect comics are going to try to find that one.
Also, keep in mind that this was sold directly by Ultimate Comics. It was limited to only 500 copies. With that said, in the aftermarket, it's going for about $80, which right now, for $80, with the way Mark Spears is going, $80 might actually be a good price for this book. Especially since we don't have many graded at the moment, but they're coming. Yeah. That number's coming. So if the census says 7 right now, I'm curious to see what it's going to look at when we get back to this book at the 90-day mark. At the 90-day mark, I'm almost certain this number is going to probably be quadruple or something like that, because they're coming in. The books are coming in. So it is quite possible that the price of the book might drop a little bit. But if you get the book at $80 and it's near mint, you could send it to CGC, spend your money, and $200 is probably where the price of that book is really going for right now anyway. It went up. 60 days, it went up. We usually when we see this 60-day period, it's starting to drop down, but not this one. And right now, Mark Spears books are still commanding top dollar. Let's take a look at our book that was number 1 90 days ago. And to no surprise, it's Absolute Batman number 1. This book came out in 2024. November 4th, week 1, this book was commanding $133 at a 9.8. That was the top weekly sale. 114 copies were sold that week. The raws were going for $24, while the graded copies were going for $110 at 9.8. The highest known value of this book was in December 21, 2024 at $500, but that was at a 9.9.
Oh, man.
As of today, this book is $30. That's the last recorded sale of this book at $30. 1,042 copies were sold since that time period, in that 90-day period. $31 near mint for raws, $98 for a 9.8. Now look at this number. We talked about the Lobo. There's currently 1,489 copies of this book that are graded as of today.
Imagine CGC graders have nightmares of waking up and grading piles of 25 of these books at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Wow. In that time period, you see, this is what I'm talking about, the Mark Spears books. We're going to see a lot.
Yeah.
And that's not just one book. That's multiple books. This is literally one book. And I'm not even counting the variants. I'm literally just counting cover A of this book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's insane to me. It's absolutely insane that this book is what it is, but it is the top selling book of 2024. So there's no denying it. It's amazing how many books have already been graded. And most of those books are high grade.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
The majority are high grade, like 9.8s or 9.6s. They're a little bit, there's some a little lower, but for the most part, they're all 9. Almost all of them are 9.8s.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 10 sometime before the end of the year.
Well, we got the 9.9. There's actually 2 recorded that we know of. So you might get it. I don't know about a 10 because the paper quality of the book might make it harder for it to be a 10. You get what I'm saying? Usually a cardstock has a better chance of being a 10 than a standard paper. But if it's maintained, it might be able to get it. Mm-hmm. All right. So there you have it, guys. That's the list for today. Wow. What a set of books, man. What a set of books. 30, 60, 90 look back. Do you have these books? I'm happy to say I have 2 of them. I don't have the
one.
Yeah, I don't have the one in the middle, but I have the 2 that are bookends, and I'm okay with that. I do happen to have the ASM 601, so that's a technicality there, right?
Yeah, I have that one right here too, ready to go for grading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you have it, guys. 30, 60, 90. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.